sir, yes, ma'am, yes, they, yes, you, yes, whoever you are, whoever you identify as, welcome here. And listen, Howie Roseman in this Philadelphia Eagles offseason, I believe, has been a masterclass, okay? I think they've done an excellent job considering the things that they have had to navigate in terms of player acquisition, player losses, and offseason trades, and what their overall plan is for this team going forward for the next 2 to 3 years. And I know there's a segment of Philadelphia Eagles Nation out there who believes that Howie Roseman is deconstructing what was the number one defense in all of football and a championship level defense in all of football. And again, to a degree, you're correct. Okay. You can't lose players like Darius Slay, Josh Sweat, Milton Williams, and Chauncey Gardner-Johnson and expect to be better going into the next season, right? It is really tough to suggest that that is the way to fulfill the holes on defense, so to speak. Okay. Now, I will urge you and tell you that every move that this organization has made, it's calculated. It's thought out, and there's reason behind every single one of them. Whether or not you like it as a fan base is one thing. I just believe that each one of these moves has significance and that each move here has been planned. And I've talked about that in previous episodes regarding the Philadelphia Eagles and what Howie Roseman's offseason strategy is. He's trying to clear up money. And if he's trying to clear up money to sign the core of this defense to keep them here long term, then I believe this is what you got to do. These are the moves that you got to make. These are the contracts and acquisitions and the transactions that you must make as a championship organization in order to sustain long-term excellence. And he said it in the past. You're not going to like the moves I make. Some of these moves you're going to question. Again, I'm paraphrasing Howie Roseman here, but look at this offseason in a holistic approach. 6 months is what we have here. You got pre-draft free agency, you got the draft, and then post-draft acquisitions. Look at us after those things, after that time frame, and then tell me. Then look at this organization and look at this roster and tell me you don't feel confident going into the season. Again, look at some of the signings that he's made. You lost Josh Sweat and Milton Williams. You bring on Josh Uche, who, again, has had success in the past, was with the Chiefs. He had an 11.5 sack season with the Patriots a few years ago. A solid move. You bring up Moro Ojomo, believing he's going to come into the fray. You've signed back Patrick Johnson as a rotational piece, who again was with Philadelphia. You let go of Darius Slay and James Bradbury, but you still bring on a veteran presence in Adoree Jackson, who again, first-round pedigree, played with the Giants. You've seen him. You know what his abilities are because he's in the division. He's had solid seasons in the past, okay? He's not a scrub. Yes, you let go of Chauncey Gardner-Johnson, but you have Sidney Brown in the fray. You have Keely Ringo as a cornerback in the fray. And potentially, there's talk about potentially bringing on a Justin Simmons or a William Blackman after the NFL draft, or maybe even drafting safety at the NFL draft, okay? A lot of moving parts here. You lose Oren Burks, but you have Nakobe Dean and you re-signed Zack Baun. Like, again, is it the greatest track record in terms of, hey, you lose all these really, really good players in the hopes of, relying on youth? Will that work in your favor all the time? Not necessarily. But again, it's a good bet because of what this team is trying to do going forward, and that is save a lot of damn money to pay Jordan Davis, Jalen Carter, Nolan Smith, Nakobe Dean, and then eventually down the road a Reed Blankenship, who again is probably part of that discussion now, right? Like, all these moves have reason, and then you can get veteran signings down the road, okay? And again, we'll talk about some of the offseason grades. I believe it's a masterclass, even though my letter grade won't necessarily reflect that. But before we do that, we talk about what this show is all about and who we are. This is the Riding the Bench Eagles podcast. I am your host, Asif Badi, and like you, I am a Birds fan who talks about the Birds, only the Birds, and nothing but the Philadelphia Eagles. So please do us a favor, help us grow this channel organically by shooting this video a thumbs up, commenting your thoughts in the comment section below, and subscribing to the channel. It'll help me get out to as many Eagle fans out there on the World Wide Web as much as possible. And also check us out on audio platforms such as Apple Podcasts and Spotify. Leave us a 5-star review because in the end, it doesn't cost you a damn thing. And out here, ladies and gentlemen, in this economy and what's been going on in the world, you need to save every sort of penny you got, and you want to be entertained. So you know what? Subscribe. Make fun of me. Talk about the Birds. That's pretty entertaining for your day. We thank you for your support on the opposite side of the camera. Howie Roseman's off-season grade, ladies and gentlemen. I labeled it a masterclass considering what they're trying to do long-term. But in terms of the acquisitions right now, up to this point, you give it a B+. That's what you do. And I know, a little bit of a conundrum here, guys. A little bit of an oxymoron. How can it be a masterclass and he's not getting the perfect score? It's because the rest of the offseason is so incomplete. Right? You still have the draft coming, and you still got acquisitions to be made after the draft. Howie Roseman has made moves after the NFL draft almost every offseason. Like, we've seen it. That's how he got Chauncey Gardner-Johnson in the building, right? He made a trade with the Saints a few years ago in 2022 after the NFL draft, before the season began, right? So you need to let this organization, this department of player personnel, the scouting, we can only judge them based on what they've done thus far. And listen, you can't give them an A+ because you lost so many great players. You lost Milton, you lost Josh Sweat, you lost Darius Slay, and you're losing too much talent to necessarily say, wow, we got better this offseason thus far. But what you can say is that, wow, every player that we have lost thus far, there's been a relative contingency plan that Howie has put forth that can bring on really good upside. You lose Josh Sweat, you bring in Josh Uche. You lose Darius Slay, you bring in a veteran corner like Adoree Jackson, and you hope Keely Ringo can come into the fray and step up. You lose Chauncey Gardner-Johnson, and I know you don't necessarily have a contingency plan there, but you have Reed Blankenship, and you hope Sidney Brown can mold and form into a starting caliber player. Right? At linebacker, you lose Oren Burks, but you have Nakobe Dean and Jeremiah Trotter there. You'll lose Milton Williams, but you hope Jordan Davis and Moro Ojomo step up. You know what I'm saying? Like, there's a lot that this team has done to almost soften the blow of some of these losses. And most organizations are not usually prepared in that sense, where they don't need to go out and make a big splash free agency signing in order to fulfill those gaps. Howie Roseman and this organization hasn't made a splash play yet, if at all. Right? The biggest move of the offseason for them was signing Saquon Barkley to an extension and signing Zack Baun to an extension. Like, those were the biggest moves of the offseason for the Philadelphia Eagles. And quite frankly, as a fan, I love seeing that that's the biggest move you've had to make. It's excellent to see that. Because now you're rewarding players for doing things that they're supposed to do during the season. It makes you an attractive free agent spot. You treat your players well. It just bodes well for you long term. And that's how you have to look at this NFL organization. Long-term thinking is how Philadelphia operates. Again, let's put it to you like this. Is Jalen Carter, is keeping him, Jordan Davis, and Nolan Smith here long-term, along with Reed Blankenship, are they worth Josh Sweat, Milton Williams, Darius Slay, and Chauncey Gardner-Johnson? Are those 4 young players worth the sacrifice of Josh Sweat, Milton Williams, Darius Slay, Chauncey Gardner-Johnson? If you believe yes, then what you need to say is Howie Roseman has done an excellent job. An absolutely excellent job. Now, I know JD hasn't been signed yet. Carter's not extended yet. Reed isn't extended yet, right? We understand that. But boy, oh boy, did those 4 sacrifices put us in a position where Howie Roseman can throw an offer to them at the table and say, hey, look what we have done to make sure you are a part of this organization. Where are you going to go that's going to offer you this kind of atmosphere, this kind of enthusiasm, this kind of level of success, and still pay you top of the line type money and still give you the type of pay that you want to have going forward? There's no organization that can do that. There's no organization that can say that. That's the trump card for Philadelphia. And if you're a fan base, I know you're looking at this and saying, wow, we lost Chauncey, we lost Sweat, we lost Milton, and we lost Darius Slay. But you know what? Look at what's behind them. Sidney Brown's at safety. We don't know if he can play or not, but we believed in his talent. And he was part of a really good college team in college football, an elite defense there with Devin Witherspoon and East Illinois and those guys. You bring on Keely Ringo, who, again, that guy's 22 years old and he's been in the league for 3 years now. I mean, like that is like super, super raw. And now you got the veteran coaching staff with Vic Fangio in the building here, the architect of this defense, hoping to mold these young players into successful NFL careers. To me, those 4 veterans, they're not worth Jalen Carter, they're not worth Jordan Davis, they're not worth Nolan Smith, and they're not worth Reed Blankenship. Like, those are 4 guys you must keep. You have to have them. And Howie Roseman has done a good job at potentially putting themselves in a position to keep them. And I'm going to assume going into the draft this upcoming year, you're going to draft even more contingencies on the defensive side of the ball. Whether that is getting another edge player, whether it is getting a safety, maybe it is drafting an offensive tackle and sustaining and fulfilling the depth on the offensive line going forward, so that you have a Lane Johnson replacement down the road. Whatever it is, maybe it is tight end, because Dallas Goedert's probably going to be out the door by before the 2025 season begins. This organization is operating at a different level, ladies and gentlemen, and because of that, you have to give Howie Roseman a Masterclass title. But again, you have to cash in, and that's why I only give him a B+, which, again, I know it sounds crazy. It doesn't really make a lot of sense on the surface, but you have to see what they do in the draft. You got to see what they do after the draft. I am confident by the end of this offseason and before OTAs begin and training camp begins and stuff, we're going to look at this offseason and you're going to look back and say, wow, no other GM would have been able to do what this guy just accomplished. Nobody. That's going to remain true, in my opinion. The only thing now that we can do is sit back and wait and let the chips fall where they're going to fall. Hey, thank you so much for watching the Riding the Bench Eagles podcast. If you want to continue to support the channel, please hit the like and subscribe button down below. Also, check us out on Instagram and TikTok at Riding the Bench Eagles Pod. We're also on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, iHeartRadio, you name it, we're on there. Thank you so much for listening, and please join us next time here at the Riding the Bench Eagles Podcast.